What's going on, everyone? ODC here, and I'm back with another action figure review. Today's review, we're going to take a look at the Mythic Legion's Advent of Decay. This is Faunus. Faunus is actually pretty cool. Another character that's kind of taken me by surprise as far as how much I actually like him. Initially, I was just like, "Oh, okay, he's gonna be using a lot of the same parts that the Silverhorn Sentry used," but yeah, the backstory for this character actually makes sense for him reusing said parts. I think he still looks really good. I'm pretty pleased. I love the head sculpt. The head sculpt is beautiful. I think really that is the shining uh, the shining diamond of the aesthetics as far as the entire figure goes here. Um, the head is really what's going to pull you in, what's going to bring you into wanting to get this figure. It's a beautiful head sculpt. It's kind of a mixture of almost like a cat with a tree, but it makes sense too because it's a part of his backstory also. So, but it looks really great. I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out overall. There's a couple little things that I noticed with like paint applications. It's not the worst thing in the world. I can fix it myself, but I feel like it's something that I really shouldn't have to fix. Spending the amount of money that I did on the all in, but it's just a couple little nitpicks that I have with some of the paint applications being kind of sloppily done, or actually half done is what I should call it. But overall, I'm pretty excited to give you guys this review, and I'm just going to kind of wait a second for people to start trickling in. So I'll just continue to talk about the character himself. And I'll try to give you guys a little bit of a backstory. I'm going to let you read the side of the packaging as well when I get to that. But I am Groot indeed, JD. Yeah. But yeah, the figure itself looks really good. The basically the backstory here is that he is pretty much the commander of the Silverhorn Sentries, which is pretty cool. He is a an advisor of Queen Artemis, which is pretty awesome. Queen Artemis is the woman with the kind of almost like fairy-esque wings. They're big and huge wings. She was actually a deluxe figure, but we're going to get to her review down the line. But I just kind of want to give it a little bit more of a backstory here as to who he is and what he's all about. He's a trusted advisor to Queen Artemis. He does have some sort. He does have. He's an elemental. Basically, what that means is he can harness different types of primal forestry to primal forestry magic, excuse me, and he can actually use that because I guess Queen Artemis's castle, which we've only seen a couple scenes of it in the comic, but he can actually summon forestry to grow and rise around the castle, which is pretty awesome, as a defense mechanism for the kingdom of Queen Artemis. So that's pretty awesome. I mean, it's that's what it says in the bio. It's pretty cool. I like that. Like I said, he's the commander of the Silverhorn Sentries, and I'll give you a little comparison with those in a second. He does reuse some parts from the Silverhorn Sentry. Some of the armor here and there. But we'll get to all the comparison. I'll show you what he shares with them in general. But Faunus looks pretty good. I'm pretty pleased overall. At the end of the day, how the browns really turned out with the gold and the green. I think it's a really good mixture, and him being a elemental, it just does really go well together with the. It's almost like it's like a brown and an orange and a green and gold. It just looks really well. It goes really well together. Excuse me. But overall, here he is at a full 360. The lighting is actually not doing it justice due to the quality of my lighting. But so I apologize for that. But all of his armor here is all this like nice metallic green. It looks really good. It gives a nice good shine off of the light. Looks really good. He does come with some cloth goods, as you can see down here. He does have cloth goods on covering his legs here, which we'll get to. And I will actually go ahead and show you how to put that on properly. It's pretty much the same thing that I showed in the prior review, but which I had to fix. But basically, I will go ahead and show you that again. But before we get to that, speaking of the accessories, let me get all of his accessories over here so you can see. I will not be including the back adapters because I have included those already. There's really no need for me to go through the back adapters every single review. So if that's why it's not included, now you know. But here we have all of his accessories. Here we're starting off with the dagger with a sheath, which is pretty good looking, I have to be honest with you. You'll see this pretty much as almost like a regular thing going throughout the wave. There's a lot of characters that have this dagger, and it's a very simple design. You can remove the dagger, obviously. And as you can see there, it is like a two-toned, it's like almost like a copper for the handle and then a gold for the blade. But I think it looks really good. Get that out of there. That looks really good. I really like the nice line sculpt work for the handle itself. I think that looks really nice. And it's got this nice little like ball at the top of the handle there. So very well done with this dagger. The sheath itself for the dagger has some nice sculpting here. I think that looks really good. Oh, and I dropped it. I apologize. Let me get my tweezers out here. This is be a lot easier to see the detail with my tweezers. There we are. Looks really good. And it does have a clip system on the other side, so you simply just want to clip that onto his leather belt. And that's pretty much it for the dagger. Now, moving on to the shield. We have seen this shield in previous waves before. It's nothing really all that new, besides the paint apps being different. So, obviously the paint apps are going to be to match Faunus over here, but looks really good. I like the green metallic right here with the it's almost like a copper. I said brown before, so I'll just call it copper. It's a very nice copper look. I'm trying to get that little whatever that was off the shield there. But the copper looks really good. The gold looks really good where the gold studs are. Overall, just a really nicely painted shield. And then over on the other side, we have just a little clip system, which is, well, I shouldn't call it a clip system. It's pegged in. It's a peg system for the handle on this. Now, like I said before, with these shields, with this new peg system and the handle system for the shields, it works better on the male larger bodies from like 1.0 and earlier than this wave. On the smaller bodies, because they use smaller hands, it's kind of a little bit more difficult for them to grip this larger handle. So what I do is I actually put their forearm in between the handle and the shield, and it actually holds a lot better. So if you're having issues with them holding it, you can go that route as well. So there is the shield. 2 down, 2 to go. We have the, as I like to call it, it's the same old sword. It's a sword that comes with almost everybody. So it's a beautiful sculpt. I like the sculpt. I always liked the sculpt of this. It just happens to be so common that it kind of lost its oomph to me. The handle looks really good, though. I like this. It's a very nice broadsword. So looks really good. I like the gold and the silver for the blade. Very consistent throughout. And that's the same old sword, as I call it. Here is his elemental staff, or his magic staff, as I like to call it. This is where we start getting into some paint application issues, and it's only in one spot, really. So I don't have, it's not a deal breaker or anything by any means, but there is the issue, and I have to point it out just so, and it's probably just mine, you know what I mean? It's probably a selective quality control issue, or a contained quality control issue, it might just be on mine. Maybe it's on somebody else's. I don't know, but I'll show you that in a second. As far as the staff portion goes right here, looks really good. A nice gold. It's like a darker gold. Looks really good. And the sculpt. We've seen the sculpt before. It's nothing really all that new, but. And then for the top portion of the staff here, as you can see, it is a glaring issue here. We have, this is supposed to be painted all green, and it's painted halfway. And it's not supposed to be like that, because you can see where the paint marks were headed. It's like they didn't fully get the paint on it, and it's way uneven. It just looks very sloppy. I'm not happy with really the way that looks. So I'm probably not going to display him with this staff, to be honest with you. I'm probably just going to display him with his sword. If I do end up finding another one of these attachments, I might do that. But for now, I'm going to have to find some green paint, and I might just paint this a different color green. I do actually have a pearlescent green, which might actually look a lot better. But like I said, it's not a deal breaker. It's just something I have to point out as far as a quality control issue. And hopefully that's not on anyone else's. So when you do get Faunus, if you do get Faunus, or if you went all in and you do have your Faunus, just be sure to check out the ball on top of the staff, the magical staff. All of the paint applications and everything look really good on this. I like the black paint shading going throughout. There's actually a little bit of, it's mostly like, I want to say this is actually like, there's a little bit of like green mixed in with this, a little bit of like a mossy color on mine for some reason. I don't know if it's picking up, but looks pretty damn good. I like it. So there is the magical staff, and that is the final piece to his accessories, besides the back adapters and obviously the belt piece right here. All right, I'm going to quickly go through articulation, then I'll go through the deconstruction and reconstruction of how to put on his skirt piece. And then we'll do some size comparisons, and we'll go through the sculpt and paint of the figure. As far as his articulation does go, his head can swivel at a full 360 rotation if you really need it to, but he can get pretty much any range of motion that you need. His head can look down about that far, and that's about neutral. And that's his head looking up. His head, like I said, it can swivel a full 360 rotation if you needed to. It does swivel at the neck joint, and it also swivels at the ball peg too. So there's two actually points of articulation there. So you got to swivel at the neck joint right there. And then if you hold the neck joint, you can get the ball peg to swivel as well. It does pivot side to side, so good range of motion there. Let's see if we got some jive turkeys. Oh yeah, we got some jive turkeys up in here. So there we got jive turkeys. And now the arms go up about that far, and that's maxed out. Even with the shoulder armor on, that's maxed out. Right there, that's good. You can get a full 360 rotation even with the shoulder armor on. You just kind of have to move it. It is just pegged into the back. And then we have a single bend at the elbow. There is the single bend full motion right there. And then a swivel at the elbow. We do have a swivel at the gauntlet, swivel at the wrist, hinge joint at the wrist. And then we do have a waist swivel and a diaphragm joint, which can crunch back and forward. Let me get his head neutral there so you get the feel. Actually, that's not neutral. That's neutral. But there's forward and back. He can swivel, like I said, can pivot side to side a little bit. He can do the splits, even with the skirt on, which looks good. Legs go out, forward, back, upper thigh swivel, a single jointed knee, swivel at the knee, swivel at the, hold on, let me get there, swivel at the ankle. He does point the toe not too far due to the sculpting of the hoof. And then he can point the heel, and then he does have an ankle pivot. So that is his full range of motion, articulation, all of that fun stuff. Oh, great. Good. That's blah, blah. I can't talk. I'm stammering and stumbling over my words here. That's really good, Anthony. That's awesome to hear. That is a full jive turkey right there. That is right. Oh, Red Dead 2 is downloading. That's awesome, Slippery. I'm happy for you, man. I'm jealous. I'm still trying to get my $60 worth out of the WWE 2K19. So Red Dead might have to wait at least another week for me to pick that up, you know. But as far as Faunus goes, I'm going to deconstruct him really quick and show you how to put this skirt piece on properly, and we'll go from there. All right, so you want to depeg the head. You can pull the head off with the neck piece. It doesn't really matter. Whichever way you want to do it is perfectly fine. The collar piece. You don't have to take him all apart to do this. You can just simply detach him at the torso. But I'm just deconstructing just to show you how to deconstruct him. You might want to use a little bit of heat there. I like to rotate like I just did. I don't like pulling, only pulling. Usually I try to rotate and pull up at the same time. This way you're not putting too much stress on that ball peg joint. Let's get his belt off. And then you want to take this piece off. And then, as you can see here is the skirt piece that he comes with separately. Does not come with him, or at least mine didn't come with it included on the character. It came in a separate bag. So there you go. So that is him deconstructed down to the skirt. I didn't take the arms off, obviously, or I'm not taking the legs off, but I just wanted to give you guys a good shot at some of the sculpted and painted detail that you might not see with the skirt piece on. So, and I noticed that I didn't go through that with King Bromden Ironjaw, and I apologize for that. If anybody caught that, I didn't go underneath the armor. What I'll do is I'll actually post pictures on my Facebook page, so if you guys want to check that out, you can. I'll leave a link for my Facebook page in the description box below. I usually always leave a link for my Facebook page and Strident's Facebook page down there if you want to join our community. But the copper mixed with the gold and the green and then the silver for the under armor right there, the chainmail under armor, looks really good. A very nice flow as far as differentiation between the different metallics and the different flat paints. I really like it. The hooves are painted very nicely. A nice brown with a black wash on the bottom of the hoof. And then on the bottom of the hoof, we have even more sculpted detail for the, I guess you want to call them the shoes, his shoes technically. It's like a horse has a horseshoe. But looks pretty good though. I like the extra little bit of added bonus detail there with that. And he does have 2 peg holes at the bottom of his feet. And then here we have the back of the legs here. Looks really good. The armor looks pretty consistent with the Silverhorn Sentry's armor and other armors that have been used with this mold. But simply putting him, reconstructing him back, we have the skirt piece on now, and you want to make sure you put that skirt piece on underneath the leg and I guess crotch armor. So that's pretty much how you want to have that, like so. Then you want to take your crotch or leg armor. You want to center that like so. And then there you go. It will stay in place. You can do what you want with it after that. Then you want to take your torso piece and you want to, I don't want to put too much stress on this. Hold on, let me get this just right at the sweet spot. Perfect. You don't want to pull on the soft goods. You kind of just want to hold it in place and use pressure to push down on the top part. I might have to do this off screen because I don't want to knock everything over. There we go. All right. So there you go. He is reconstructed. No big deal. Was not difficult to do. Next, I'm going to put my collar piece back on. Then you want to put your neck peg back on after, excuse me, the collar piece is already placed in. So the neck piece actually holds the collar piece down so it doesn't come flying out. So that's a little extra thing. And then we have 2 peg holes at the bottom, or at the back. Doesn't that look like a little face on the back? Isn't that something? I don't know. But there you go with the shoulder armor. Looks really good. And then let me fix my camera. There we go. Oh, I forgot to put the belt on. But that's okay. I'll do that off camera. Not a big deal at all. But there he is reconstructed. I'll try and do the deconstruction, reconstruction for pieces or for characters that have cloth goods so you know how to put them on properly. But there you go. There is Faunus. He looks really good. I'm going to get him with his stuff. Let's get him with his shield back in his hand. We'll make him a lefty. Why not? Well, let's make him a lefty. I got to have some variety here with these people. Definitely going to have to repaint that ball, like I said. But it looks pretty cool. I'm pretty pleased. 3 minutes left. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. If you do have to leave before the review's over, I completely understand. Red Dead Redemption 2 has been long awaited. Long ado. So, I will not be offended if you leave. But here he is with the Silverhorn Sentry. These are the troops that he commands. And they stack up pretty well together. So, I only have 1 Silverhorn Sentry. I'm regretting not getting at least 2. So there's that. There's that. I had an opportunity to get multiples of Silverhorn Sentry, and I was like, I don't need them all. I don't need a lot. And I'm not really trying to army build Mythic Legions. It would get very pocket heavy or wallet heavy, quick. Or wallet lightning, I should say, you know. But it's okay. I mean, I'm pretty happy that I have 1 of each character. I don't think I have multiples of really anybody besides Atlas and Gideon, Sir Gideon Heavens brand. I have multiples of him in case anything happens to him. I can always, take the new one out of packaging. So there you go with that. I don't know why I'm still doing this voice. But I am. So deal with it. All right. But there he is with the Silver Star. There he is with the Silverhorn Sentry. Looks good. The shields are obviously different. He's got a little bit more of a barbarian type shield, where he's got more of a, I don't know, a little bit more of a, I don't know what you would call that. It would be maybe a Spartan type shield, something like that. I don't know. But that was also my poor attempt at a English accent. Yes, I know. Yeah, I know. It's a rough life. But we'll get through it, right? Oh, that's the only other thing that I have kind of an issue with the hoof-footed characters. The ankles aren't as strong to kind of keep them in place, Oh, that's awesome, Slippery. I'm so glad that you're gonna get your figures tomorrow, man. It is a very exciting time, man. I'm still excited about doing these reviews. I mean, I haven't lost my spunk yet. It is quite a task to be doing over 40 action figure reviews on a daily basis, pumping these out once a day. It's difficult. I was actually tempted to do 2 a day, but I'm not going to do that. It's too much. And then if I only do 1 a day, or if I skip 1 a day, then people start being like, where's my review? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. As far as other size comparisons go, let me back him up. Ferger. That's my new word. Ferger. And we'll get to some other size comparisons, which I always try to do. My ADD kicks in sometimes, and then I forget. So we'll bring in Sir Gideon here. There he is, standing up next to Sir Gideon. Okay. Obviously, Faunus is going to be taller than Sir Gideon due to the head sculpt. And the hooves actually make him a little bit taller, even though they share a lot of body parts. I want to say, let's see. The armor pieces on his legs are different than Sir Gideon's, like this belt piece and the leg coverings. Those are different. They're a different type of armor. But the shoulder armor is the same. The torso piece is the same. The crotch covering is the same. It's just painted different. I think the legs are the same. Yes, they are the same, except for the feet, obviously. And obviously the head is different. Does he have? He doesn't have. He has actually. Sir Gideon has this gold collar piece right here, which is actually different. He does not have that gold collar piece. And he does not, and obviously Sir Gideon does not have this collar piece right here, which I'm pointing to. I'm talking about the inner collar piece right here on him, where he doesn't have that. He has this collar piece right there. So just want to point out the differences in case anyone is like, oh, I wonder what the difference is. There are some differences. Okay, it's Marvel Legends time. Comparison with Marvel Legends. Here he is standing up next to Mr. Madrox. And here he is standing up next to Mr. Bishop. Oop, there we go. Whoa. Oh, he's falling. There we go. 2 really cool figures that I would recommend getting. I like them a lot. I like them a lot. So, pretty awesome. Like them both. Like all 3. Pretty cool. So, there's your size comparison with some Marvel Legends. And then we got to do the Motu. You gotta do the Motu. I gotta start bringing in a DC figure because, I mean, DC is not represented here. And all my DC figures are downstairs in my DC room. Oh well. But we do have Mr. Paul Heyman here. So there's Paul Heyman. And then last but not least, we have our Motu companion, Vicor. My favorite Motu figure. Very pleased to have him. So there you go. Faunus is taller than everybody. Except for the Silverhorn Sentry, which by the antlers, he's taller than Faunus. So, but there you go with that. I'm actually staring at the figure I'm going to do tomorrow. So stay tuned for another review tomorrow. So, would I recommend Faunus? I absolutely would. I think he looks really good. I like the hooved feet. This is kind of what I wish Balaam or Balaam or whatever you want to, Balaam or Balaam, whatever you want to call him. I got a lot of upset people in the comments about how I was pronouncing his name. But thank you to the people that were civil and actually were like, hey, I think it's pronounced this way. So there were some cool people too. Anyway. I kind of wish that Balaam would have came with some cat feet, kind of like he came with hooved feet. That would have been maybe my only recommendation, and I include that into Balaam's review yesterday. But I really like the head sculpt on him. I think it looks really good. I like the green metallic, like I said, mixed with the orange and the copper, mixed with the gold and the gold studs going throughout the body. It looks really good. Everything is a really nice, different combination of colors that you wouldn't necessarily think to put together, but it ended up looking great anyway. So I'm pretty pleased with this. I love this head sculpt. The head sculpt is beautiful. And let me just give you one more full 360 rotation on the head sculpt just so you can really taken everything that he's got to offer here as far as the sculpt goes. There's the top of the head. That looks really good. And as you can see, it's very tree-like. Him being a elemental, that makes sense for me. I like how his ears are kind of like this, they're almost like leaves, which is pretty awesome. They're like green little leaves. You can actually see the little veins in the leaves. Looks really cool. And then obviously the front of the face here, which looks very cat-like. That's very nicely done. I'm very pleased with this head sculpt overall. So, and it's cool to have another, we got a lot of love for Queen Artemis in this wave. Not only just getting her, but we're getting a lot of help for her. Seeing as we pretty much, I think, only got, Otho and the most of Attila Leoser's army in wave 1. So it's really nice to see that we got a lot of Queen Artemis's clan in here. And I don't want to leave this out because I almost forgot to do this, but here is the packaging. Don't worry. Don't worry, be happy. It's Friday. It's been a long week. I'm not going to lie. It's been a very long week. But there's the Mythic Legion's packaging on the front. Here it is on the back. We have Queen Artemis on the back, and she looks beautiful. As you can see, Faunus is in the background right there. And I think that's Joe Rund. I think that's Joe Rund right there in the back. I'm pretty sure. That white beard is giving him away with the wings, I think. So I think that's Joe Rund, and then we have Faunus and Queen Artemis, and she is gorgeous. Hopefully we get that. I know we're supposed to get some mounts in the upcoming waves, and some steeds or mounts is what the technical term would be for it. But I think we're supposed to get Arthier and his horse, which is going to be in a kind of a deluxe figure. It's going to be like a big one piece, well, not one piece, a 2-piece deluxe figure where it's him and his horse. So that'll be pretty cool. But I would like to see, and the Horsemen have been talking about giving us, and I'm very pleased about this because he's my favorite character, I think. Or he is my favorite character. We're going to get a big bear for Atlas the Conqueror to ride on. So with that being said, if we are going to be getting that, then we got to get her with her. I think that's a deer that it's like a big elk or deer that she rides on into battle with, which is pretty cool. I love her crown here. It's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But there is her clan's insignia. And then on the other side, we have a picture of Faunus. And then there's his little read up, and I will hold this up here for my live reviewers. For those of you watching it on playback, you can pause it and read it, and then fast forward if you have finished reading it. It's kind of short and sweet, nice little read up there. Nothing too crazy. So there you go. There's his read up. I hope you guys had time enough to check that out. But here is Faunus. And like I said, my closing statement here is I would definitely give him a 2 thumbs up. I would say the knock against him would maybe be the loose ankles in the hooved feet. The ball on his mage staff or elemental staff, whatever you want to call it, his magic staff. Not being painted at the top of the ball, which kind of is an eyesore, but I can fix that. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but spending the amount of money that I did, I was kind of hoping that I wouldn't have to do that. But there's worse things happening in the world. First world problems, not a big deal at the end of the day. But definitely a 2 thumbs up here. I would definitely give him a recommendation. I love that head sculpt. It is just beautiful. It looks absolutely beautiful. I end up always saying this about Mythic Legions, especially with the head sculpts. These figures always end up just looking so damn good. So, but that's pretty much it for me. Be sure to hit that like button. That helps my channel a lot. It takes a second to do, and it's free. And if you haven't subscribed and you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and join me. Join me on my tour to finish this Mythic Legion's Ambit of Decay wave. But I also have plenty of other content. I've been on YouTube for 6 years, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the content. Hit the bell for notifications until you see the 2 little parentheses going over the bell. That also helps you get all notifications. If you only hit it once, you'll only get occasional notifications. So hit that like button. Thank you for the support. You guys are awesome. I'll be back tomorrow with another review. And I'll see you guys on the flip side.